Hello, Frank Strayer here for Fedgelight Graphics. I just want to let you all know that I apologize for waiting so long, but I've got a nice tutorial for you. I'm expanding my business a little bit into the Second Life virtual world, and what I'm doing there is I'm creating my own store filled with clothing and accessories and things like that. So I wanted to do a quick free tutorial for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and do a shirt. Show you how to make a shirt for your Second Life avatar. So I'm going to go ahead and begin by opening up a Photoshop document. And I know you're asking yourself, Frank, what are you doing? You're in Photoshop. No, I didn't like Photoshop before, but it's only if I have to create texture maps and things for UV maps and things like that. So okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up a US paper size letter just so that you can see everything that's going on. And usually when I get into this, I just go into my template and start designing things, but I realized in the long run it just wasted too much time in trying to upload and redesign and refigure things out. So I've added my own little 3D plugin, if you will, for Photoshop, and so I just opened up my own 3D file. I'm going to go ahead and click on a female, and .obj is your standard three-dimensional or 3D object file, and it also comes with its own material already mapped onto the entire avatar. And so we have, you know, basically your whole layouts designed on your 3D avatar. And this was actually exported from Second Life itself. So on that note, let's see if I can do. They have cool little like 3D movements, like you can orbit, you can zoom in, you can zoom out on the character, you can take a look and see what's going on basically with the texture mapping. And I decided to go ahead and start doing it this way, and I'll show you why here in a second. But for now, we have on the side here, we have the diffuse textures, the head, the top, and the bottom. The bottom basically is from the waist down to the feet. The material top is from the neck to the waistline, and the head, of course, is from the neck to the top of the head. So in order to make a shirt, you'll need to click on material top, and you'll come to the UV mapping for the top of the avatar. To get started, I'm going to go ahead and select fill. Brightness. Sure, we're going to stay at 19 for now, and we're going to change this to straight. Actually, let's move it to straight gray, about close to 50% gray. And I'm going to go ahead and start over coloring. Actually, hold on, I made a mistake. Sorry. I'm going to add a new layer just so we don't get rid of the background. The reason for that is I don't want to delete or color over, you know, the original UV mapping, just in case I need that later. go ahead and start outlining. Keep in mind though, when you look at the UV mapping, you can kind of almost see boobs, and that can confuse a lot of people, especially when they're working on like the male version of the avatar. Just remember that the color layouts, I mean, you could see like different colored highlights for different things. If you look at the peach sort of outlining, you can see that is where pretty much the pecs would be for the male version of it. So it's pretty universal as long as you think about it fourth dimensionally. So I'm going to go ahead and keep outlining. Let's see, I'm going to make the brush just a little bit bigger. And just go ahead and start filling in. Now with the sleeves, I'm not going to worry about, because for this I want to make it kind of a tank top in a sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it makes sense to me. Okay, front's complete. Now I'm going to do the back part of it. Now keep in mind this UV mapping is set to strictly only have whatever is on the inside of the outlines, or the colored outlines, to show up on the avatar. So if you end up coloring out here or whatever, it's not going to really affect the avatar. It's just the UV mapping that's on the inside of those outlines. So that's what I like about the geometry that they use for Second Life. It's pretty simple. Even when you're creating your own stuff inside of Second Life itself, if you don't know how to use any other external programs. Let's see, I went ahead and created a gray sort of style, and the cool thing about this is that whatever you do here is basically updated on your 3D avatar that we uploaded earlier. So if you give it a second, it'll update, and there you go. There's the design that you put on the UV mapping. And if we come in, we can actually view and see let's see there, just so we can get a close-up kind of. We take our orbital, we can look and see that we have the whole baseline, and as you can tell, that anything beyond those points are not affected. So, to continue, I'm going to go ahead and create some interesting wrinkles for the shirt, just to kind of add a little extra effect to the texture. So I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to go in and actually I'm going to take layer 1 and I'm going to lock it out so I don't end up overwriting it or writing over it. Highlight layer 2, and I'm going to go to brush, and I'm going to make the brush a little small, just so that I can create streaks and stuff. I'm going to go select white. Actually, no. Let's do black first. It's easier that way. And this is going to be kind of weird, but I'm going to go ahead and start creating black streaks. And I know it looks kind of weird, huh? Yeah, like kind of like a kindergarten paint job. So, in doing something like this, don't afraid to be messy, because like I said, if you didn't like the way it was done the first time, you can delete it, start over again. Usually the more messy you get, the more, if you know what you're doing, the more it looks realistic. So, you know, just continue to play around with it, see what you like and see what you get and stuff. That's all I can pretty much recommend for now. So anyway, I'm taking white and I'm just skimming the top of the black, not going over and not going too far from the edges. You can call this my little matte trick, if you will. I know this isn't making any sense to you at all right now. Okay, for that, I'm going to view off the gray background so I can see the pecs and the boobs, if you will. I was reading up on this the other day. I noticed that most women that wear bras, at least 70% of the U.S. population, use their bras for their second purses or hiding spots, so they can just, you know, stick stuff in them. Like I can imagine myself and my fiance married like 80 years down the road, and I'm like, "Hey, did you remember to grab the cell phone?" And she goes, "It's in my boobs." Anyway, I think I'm getting off track. Back to what I was doing here. I'm gonna go ahead and use a fade out brush, sort of, about 65, and black again, and just sort of make a swoop. I want to call it a swoop. And then I'm going to hit white and create right on top. Oh, it's starting to click for you, isn't it? You're starting to figure out what I'm doing. Anyway, from here, I want to use the smudge tool. I'm going to bring it down to close to about the same size as overlapping the entire lens. And I'm just going to go ahead and start smudging these lines out. Yeah, like I said, remember, don't be afraid to get messy, because actually, don't get too messy, but get messy to the point where it starts to look realistic, and then you can kind of tell what's happening here. Back and forth, back and forth. And what happens is it smudges the black and the white together, creates kind of a gray, and as long as the white's on top and the black's on the bottom a little bit, it kind of gives the illusion that the shirt's been wrinkled out a little bit. And same goes up here. Just kind of spread them out a little bit. You can also do whatever you want to. You can, like when you make the lines, if you wanted to, you can just sort of curve them out or whatever, however you feel that the designs would look for you. Okay, and now I'm going to hit boobs. Hit boobs. Watch as I get messy with the boobs. Too messy there. Smaller. Small wrinkles in the underfolds. This is how they used to do CG in the old days. Okay. So there we go. There's some wrinkles and it kind of puts out the boobs a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and select the front. Transform. And I'm going to kind of squeeze the boobs in just a little. Because you don't want the sides overrunning the sides, you know what I mean? Apply. So there we are, and what we want to do now, and this is kind of interesting, so that you can see everything that sort of comes together here, is that we're going to blend it in with the gray just a little bit. So we're going to take the opacity and move it down just a little bit. There we go. And just so it kind of blends in and makes its own background sort of, and it creates its own green matte. So whatever I put on top of it will fit into it. So you have kind of more of a realistic style shirt design in the texture map. So next step here, I'm going to add another layer. Actually, no. I'm going to take layer 1 and I'm going to copy it or duplicate it. And I'm going to move it above everything else. So lock the number 1 and number 2 and take the layer 1 copy and unlock that. Then I'm going to take the fill and add my own pattern. Which, by the way, if you Google, you can find free brushes and free strokes that you can use. Free patterns, fill patterns, if you will, too. And for this, I'm going to use what they call exotic polka dots. And just so we can see it clearly, I'm going to use orange just for fun. There we go. So we have automatic polka dots. Something easy. Okay, now here's the ultimate trick. When you select overlay on this polka dot, it will bring in the mat used for the wrinkledness in the shirt. So I'm going to hit overlay. And there you go, there's the wrinkles, and it kind of blends in, and it kind of looks 3D-ish and a little bit more realistic and everything. We have that design, and if you go to the 3D object that you use to open this with, if you have this layer, the layer with the design that you're using highlighted, and then you basically go to the avatar, if you will, and you let it update. And you can see that it's blended in really well. The thing about the way it looks now is because I think it's Photoshop's automatic illumination rendering. So to kind of make it a little bit more like how it would look in Second Life, I hit hard light just so that you can see it better. And orbits around, and this is why, remember what I said earlier, this is why I like using the 3D avatar when creating these things, because then I can zoom in and I can look and see here and notice that the polka dots aren't lining up with the seams of the shirt. You can see the seams from the top to the bottom of the shirt. I personally, if I'm going to make a good profit, as you will, on Second Life, I have to make sure that my shirts look, or my items that I'm selling look really good. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to click blur, and I could actually start messing with the same exact template that you just saw earlier on the avatar itself. So it will the template will automatically update with what I'm doing here. So I'll make the size just a little bit bigger, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to blur the edges out. As you see, as you can see, the seams start to kind of blend together a little bit. But if you also wanted to go a little bit faster, you could use the smudge tool. Get the size just a little bit, and you can take each and every part or polka dot that's been cut off and kind of smudge and stretch them out. I'm going to go ahead and use blur mode and blur the rest of it out a little bit. But you have it, as you can see, I have it set on a light blur, as you will, just so that I'm not overdoing the blurriness, and then you can actually see a seam full of blurriness on the side of the shirt. I don't want that, because that doesn't look very good, and the people that view the item won't think it looks very good either, and I won't make very good sales, and I don't want that. I don't want to cheat the customer, and I don't want to cheat myself out of doing anything that I'm supposed to be doing, because then, you know, you can't really make a living if nobody likes your design. So you know, it's important to make it look realistic and as professional as possible. And people will be like, "Whoa, that looks so cool," and they'll purchase it, wear it, and you know, it'd be kind of cool to roam around the virtual world and find people wearing your designs. That's a compliment to me. Okay, this looks pretty good on the sides and the top. I'm going to go ahead and orbit to the other side. And you have the same problem on the other side, so you want to use the same technique. Use the smudge tool. You just want to basically give it the illusion that there's no seam on either side of the shirt. It's just like, that way it looks like one whole shirt. You see, I noticed this problem earlier when I started creating shirts and didn't have this avatar plugin, and noticed that I started having seam on the sides of the shirt, and the shirt didn't match, and all this because of the patterns and stuff that I was using. And I'm like, man, I don't want to have to go through all that work of having to save it, import it, you know, upload it to Second Life, and not having it, you know, the way it seems, and then I go back into the thing again, and you know, vice versa, and have wasting a whole bunch of time trying to get it, when you can use the 3D plugin for Photoshop and look at what you got and sort of fix all the problems, if you will, and note that everything you do here and making sure that everything looks right here will also look just the same as when you upload it into Second Life. So you don't have to do anything in Second Life. You just upload it, turn it into a shirt, and bam, sell it. You don't have to worry about a thing because you already know what it looks like, you know. Okay, so we have everything that's just about looks pretty good. You know, there's nothing that's you know, it all blends in pretty well. So we're going to click back into the top, and the next thing, I guess, would be to make some designs on top of that. So now that we fixed the little polka dot mismatch problem, we'll go ahead and we're going to go ahead and use some floral designs. let's see, let's do something like that in the front. Something like this in the back. Yeah, just to kind of give you some ideas of what you can do. There we go. Something like that. And then when you click on your avatar, it should update the designs from the front and the back. There we go. That looks nice. Okay. Yeah. Everything shows perfectly from front to back, and we have a cool looking shirt design. I want to add that you can, when you get into Second Life, you can adjust the shape of the shirt and how loose you want the shirt to be. Sorry it's been a while to get back to you guys from Facebook and all that, but I thought this would be interesting to share with you guys. I also want to add that I've updated my desktop recorder a little bit, so I no longer have that lagging problem where like halfway through the video the audio and the video are out of sync, so you won't have that anymore. And also look forward to more tutorials, so